You funny, Roy.
All right. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1.
Hello, everyone. It is your girl, Regina Sunshine, coming to you from a beautiful day here in Douglasville. Yes, I said Douglasville, Georgia, with the Living Like a Boss men's show, broadcasting live at Regina Sunshine Global Network. That's right, Regina Sunshine Global Network here in Douglasville. And I'm so excited about today's show. If you guys were here a month ago, we were live with the Living Like a Boss Awards. If you remember, the room was full. We had drummers, we had guitarists, we had some of everybody in this room. Well, there were some men that weren't able to be with us that day. So we invited them to today's show so that they could get their awards and let our audience know some of the things that they are currently working on so you can support their efforts. So welcome to the show, Mr. Rick Mathis and Mr. Brian Walker.
Thank you for having us.
Good to have you guys here.
Glad to be here.
So I know you're.
Beautiful spot you got here, by the way.
Thank
Beautiful
you.
spot.
Well, you know, I had to step out on faith to do some things. I decided at the beginning of the year, I felt at the beginning of the year, I know the Holy Spirit told me that June 30th was my last day working for another person. Wow. And I said, all right. I put it on my vision sheet along with some other things that have already happened pretty quickly. I'm waiting on a $100,000 check, Oprah. I've already have it written. I'm ready for that. And so quitting my job thing, when it happened, it kind of felt weird at first. You know, I was in the last meeting of the day, and my boss was like, Regina, you know, you want to tell everybody farewell and everything? And I ended up giving like a mini motivational speech, you know, to the rest of them. But when we signed off for that last call, I was like, wow, it's really over. Yeah, it's really over. Yeah. And I could hear my son in the background say, so what did you do to make money today? That's what Gabe always asked me. He said, now you got to eat what you kill. So what'd you do to make money today? Mm-hmm. And so I'm thankful for him because he's been in my ear. And so he was one of the people who suggested the classes that I mentioned to you guys. As you guys may have seen on my Facebook page, starting August the 6th, I think is the date. We've got several classes that we'll be doing out here, but he was the one who told me you can do classes out there. And I was like, for real? And every day he was saying, have you posted the classes yet? Did you make any money today? And I'm like, all right, I'm on it. Yeah. So I'm excited.
Accountability.
Yes, definitely accountability. So I'm excited. I do want to mention to you guys, if you're watching the show live, but you want to go back and watch it, you got a couple different ways you can do that. We are Facebook Live. My producer Royce and his wife Devette from Frozen Moments Media are on my live stream there. You can also go to our YouTube live stream and catch us there. But if you want to replay, there's a couple different ways. Same thing, YouTube, Facebook Live, but we also are officially now on Roku. So you can go to the Regina Sunshine Global Network Roku channel as of like 3 or 4 days ago and catch us there as well. So there's some more things coming. That's just foundational. We just getting started.
That's hot.
That's good.
That's hot.
I know, right?
We just getting started.
How you get that plug?
Yeah.
I need to holler at you.
How about that?
I have to tell you, the opportunity when it presented itself, I was like, you sure that's the right number for that? Okay, we can do that. So I have to send it to you. Yeah. It's a company that works with smaller businesses to get you on channels like Roku. What? Yeah, so it was a great opportunity. Yes. That's good stuff. And then also, you can still catch the show Tuesdays from 12 to 1 on People TV, Comcast 24 in Atlanta. So there are a couple different ways you can get us. You just look for us. You will find us somewhere. All right, so that's that. I did want to mention our sponsors. One of them was just here, the owner of Studio T, the amazing facility that we're in, Terry Searcy. Shout out to Terry. If you're looking for a place to hold a wedding reception, we've had people talking about doing movie premieres here, bringing in screens and all types of things. We had some people last week talking about doing a stage play here. All types of things. This event space is perfect to do just about anything you want to do with it. And if you were here with us now, you would see that today we're filming from the back of the room. We filmed from the stage, we filmed from the corner, all around this space. So thank you to Terry Searcy for giving me the opportunity to not only house Regina Sunshine Global Network here, but to also have my own office. You guys, I have an office in the back as well. So,
All right.
so shout out to Terry, our other
That's when
sponsor.
you know it's real.
I know. Well, you know, I have to tell you guys a story real quick. The day I came to meet with him, because I was looking for a place to broadcast the show, because our long-term goal, as Royce and the vet and I have talked about, is to have a studio audience in here when we do the show.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's what we're moving
Nice.
towards. We're kind of building up to that. And Royce is going to be, I'll let him make his announcement, but he's going to be doing some things here as well. They're going to bring in an audience. So we needed a bigger space to be able to do that. And I came and I met with Terry Searcy. And when I got through talking to him, he was just smiling and he said, God already prepared the way for you before you got here. He said, I was praying today for him to send somebody to do something here on Mondays. And he said, do you want your own office too? And I was like, for real? He said, there's an office in the back and you can have it.
Absolutely.
So I was like, absolutely, let's go. And so
Yeah.
that's how it all happened. So I came out for one thing and got blessed with something else.
Much
So,
more, something much more.
so yeah, so we
Abundant
are
living. Abundant living. Absolutely, yeah.
above and beyond what I imagined. And now I'm learning to imagine more, right?
Yes,
You know, we are limited only by what we believe that we can have. And so I'm at the point now where I'm just going to ask for what I want. All you can do is tell me no, right? But I'm going to believe you're going to give it to me. And I've already seen it, and I've said it before. I've seen Oprah walking through these doors. It's been prophesied to me by multiple people. She was going to personally mentor me. So I'm going to call it out every time I get the chance. So somebody's going to tell her, they keep hearing me talking about her, and she's going to show up at that door. We're going to do some business. For real. Out here. All right?
What I'm talking about.
So,
What do you
Oh
think?
yeah. Oh yeah.
That's it. It's gonna happen.
yeah. So, again, thank you, Terry, for the opportunity. Our other sponsor, Lanita Mitchell Blackwell, with Leading Through Living, Community, and Bold Favor Magazine. Thank you for always supporting my efforts. And a lot of the things that are happening now were her idea. She sent me out here to talk to Terry. She put me in contact with the Roku people. It's all coming together because you put good people around you, right? And they want better for you, right? They love you.
right.
They, they just want you, and so they continue to pour into your life. So shout out to Lanita, because you see things for me so often bigger than I see for me, and I have to run to catch up sometimes. But I'm thankful for that, because you don't want
Need
people
that.
in your life who allow you to be where they know you shouldn't be, And so when I come to her with this idea, she's like, "Nah, what about this?" And I'm like, "You sure?" She's, "Oh yeah." And it always comes together. So shout out to her. So that's it for me. I do want to make some announcements. You guys got any events or anything coming up that you want to announce before we start talking about these Boss Awards y'all got?
Man, we have workshops coming up for the kids with the kids, Rich Kids Society, the curriculum. So you can follow us on Black Friday Film Series for that.
That's what's
But,
up.
Yeah, we'll be doing those in August, September.
I like that. We have to bring some of those kids out here.
Oh yeah, definitely.
I was just, what we were just talking about, let's do some film classes out here. You bring them out here, let's do some filming. I think that would be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Sound good?
Oh yeah, definitely. We can have them out here as well.
Sounds good. What's up, Brian? What you got going on?
First of all, my man here is very humble.
I know he
He's
is.
doing some real big things.
He's doing some
around
cute.
the
I
world
know this.
already.
All over the
Yeah,
world,
yeah,
world
yeah.
renowned in Ghana and everywhere else. Everybody know Rick Mack.
You can
I'll
talk
tell
about
the
a little
story
more. You
in
can
a-
talk about a little more.
Can I tell? I have to tell the story because everybody knows there were two interviews I wanted. One was Molly Music and the other was David Banner. And I kept trying to get the David Banner interview. They weren't responding. And then finally he followed me on Instagram. I was like, oh, this is it. Still no response. We're in South Carolina at the Juneteenth event with Stacey Douglas. And everybody's around David. And I'm like, I can't, and I go over to Rick Matthews. I said, Rick, I really want this interview. He was like, hold on. He goes over to, is it Jasmine Kimbrell? Is that her name? And whispers something in her ear. And the next seconds, she clears everybody away and brings David Banner over to me. And we get to have the interview of a lifetime.
Yeah.
That's the kind of moves that Rick Mathis makes. I know he's humble about it.
That's an influencer.
Yes.
Influencer. However you want to say
They
it.
didn't, because she didn't ask no questions. It was enough that Rick said, this interview right here.
gonna
It
happen.
came over and it happened. Now, I looked the hot, man, so I'm going to talk about, because we had been outside all day in the hot, and
Yeah,
anybody...
we was at a festival. We
Yes.
was at a Juneteenth festival,
Oh.
so everybody knew what time it was.
We'll see. But
We have
yeah.
been kicking it all day.
It's all right.
Everybody
It's all
else
right.
knew to wear braids and everything else. I had straight, natural hair that I had flat ironed out. And by the end of the day, yeah, go ahead and shake your head, Royce, because it was bad. It was it was a beehive.
It was
But it's
kinky.
But you got the interview.
But I
How
got the
about that?
interview.
That's what
I
matters.
got the interview.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time, I'm thankful for people like Rick, who is so humble and always looking to help whoever he can help and connect whoever he can connect. So I just thank you, brother, for
Hey,
being
thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
All right, Brian Walker, tell us what you got going on.
All right, well, many of you may know I'm a model. I'm with Team EMI. Ernest Moore is the founder and the CEO of that company. And we also have spawned future gents from there.
Yes.
Where we mentor young men on a number of things. But we do mentorship with those boys, dealing with leadership, manhood, style, etiquette, a number of things that we have seemed to have lost over the number of years. So we're trying to get that back. I'm a personal fitness trainer, and I work out of a place called Beulah Family Life Center in Decatur, Georgia. But I will come and see you. So I do a home visit as well. Do that. I'm an actor. I've been in a couple of plays over the past few months. I did Damnation years ago. A couple
Okay.
years ago with Russell Tyson.
Yeah, I know Russell.
Yeah, Russell Tyson, yeah. Just did with Lady London Beverly, How to Stop Your Man from Cheating. Advice from my father's other woman.
What?
Wow.
Yes, that's what it was, right? Right? So it's a church family dealing with that. You know, the church people are regular people. They have the same temptations we all do. So that was a real good thing. I enjoyed that. I've got one coming up now. It's Be Careful What You Pray For. It's coming up in July, and it's going to run through July and in August. Excited about that. But excited to be here most of all.
Oh, wait a minute.
Excited
Y'all
to see
got
you.
a big team TMI.
Yes. We've got we have had 2 OMW 100 Men Walking
Yes.
fashion shows, something that we never thought, well, people never thought would happen in the city of Atlanta. And we've done 2 thus far. Had a few hiccups, so we haven't done 3 yet, but 3 is set for 2019.
Yes.
It's going to be bigger and better than you've all ever seen in this city.
Well, you know, I didn't make it to the second one. I went to the first one,
Yeah.
and it was such a positive environment to have all these men and to have the younger boys that were there to see you guys
Right.
walk around, you know,
Right.
in your nice suits and, you know, see you guys loving on each other. And you know, it was awesome. I really,
Thank you.
now the women went crazy too,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there was a
Yeah,
part
they
where y'all
had a good time.
came out, y'all took your suits off and they came out in swimwear. That was a whole other.
Yeah, they had a good time.
There's a
with
whole
that.
other thing.
Yeah.
But the thing I loved again was to see so many men coming together and creating this space. Because for so many people say that we can't do that, right? You
Right.
can't get that many men together to do anything positive.
And that was the question. You know, that was concern, and we did it without a problem. You know, we just went to people and said, "This is what we need to do," and they said, "Well, I want to be part of it," and we did that. Now we had to kind of slice through a few egos, a few things that we had to go through, but beyond that, we had a good time, and it was well received. And both years, as a matter of fact,
Yeah.
the second year was just as big as the first, but we're expecting this next year to be just phenomenal.
I think so, especially because there's been the gap now,
Right.
and people have been asking, constantly asking Ernest, when are y'all going to do this
Absolutely
again?
right. Absolutely.
Because I know before the first year, he actually invited the young boss honorees to
Yeah.
come and walk.
Yeah.
And I thought that was awesome for the
Yeah.
boys to be there and meet the men
Right.
and be a part of that.
Right.
So it's a special thing because,
is.
again, to get that many men together
Yeah.
and to show the young men how you carry yourself and how you,
Right.
you know, act in a room, you know,
Absolutely
when
right.
women are present and all that stuff. I love it. I love
You know,
it.
and conflict resolution is one thing we teach as well. Conflict resolution, and we all have conflicts from time to time, but we got to understand that all conflict is not bad conflict, but it's just a conflict that you can get beyond. And we oftentimes don't have the voice or the wherewithal to know how to get around or how to maneuver the conflict, and we teach that as well. You know, having that personal knowledge
Yes.
and then being able to share it with those young boys that come our way is a huge step for us. We really like doing that.
I love that.
Yeah.
As we go, we're going to talk a little bit more about future
Okay,
gents
great,
and
great.
everything. I do want to make one other announcement. I'm actually going to be a featured speaker at the first Atlanta African American Book Festival over at Georgia State on July the 14th. And actually, the young man who's heading it up was our Art and Literature Boss Award winner. His name is Farai Caldwell, and they said he is the youngest book festival founder in the U.S.
Is that
Young
right?
black man, young
How old is he?
author. I don't know. He's in his 20s. Yes, I'm quite impressed with what he has put together at Georgia State for that day. Because they've got
Absolutely.
authors coming from all over the world
That's beautiful.
to
I'm
be a
alumni at Georgia State.
Really? Yeah. Well, check into that. July the 14th. The
Yeah, I
event
heard
is
about
free. Yeah, it's free. So people just come out. He wants, especially parents who have kids, to come and get, books with positive images of our children on them for them to take home with them and to meet some amazing people. There'll be, I don't know how many authors will be there. There's probably 50 or more authors that are going to be there. And there's probably at least 10 or so speakers. I'm one of the speakers. So I'm excited to be a part of the first one, because if the first one is this big, I can't even imagine what he'll do next year with something like this. So shout out to you, Farai. Thank you for taking on that cause and wanting to set that example to show that our men do read. For some reason, there's this thought out there that our men don't read.
Yeah, we do.
But our men do. I mean, right? They
We
read.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. They raise their families.
Absolutely. They love their
All those
kids.
things. That's right.
So
they
we have
might
to,
shed a tear every now and then too.
absolutely.
We are emotional beings.
Yes, and we have to continue to have those conversations so that we combat the negative that's being said about who we are, especially who our men are. And I tell people all the time, people see me and my son and we're out and about together, but one of the reasons you see me and Gabriel out and about together so much because he has a father that works really hard so that I can do the things that I do. John's not an out front person. He's kind of a behind the scenes person, but he has provided those opportunities for us to be able to pursue our dreams.
Fantastic.
So there's a man who works hard
Shout out to
every
John.
day.
John is his name?
John Robinson. That's my husband, John
Shout out
Robinson.
to Mr. Robinson. John Robinson. Shout out.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, so that
Absolutely.
we can do what we do. And he's, couple of events he's been to. He might run the camera for me or whatever, but he's
Behind the scenes.
he's you remember the guys, like they work, they want a hot meal and they want to go watch TV.
Right.
That's John. Well, after he runs about 8 miles, because he runs 8 to 10 miles every day, you'd have to be. He just finished one of those those Tough Mudder things up in New York.
That's serious.
Yeah, did like
right
30 some obstacles with
being serious.
yeah. Gabriel will tell you. I remember once they went running together, and at that time Gabriel was running maybe 5 miles a day, and he came back and he looked like he had been drugged. And I said, "What happened?" He said, "Dad just kept running. He just kept running." And I said, "Why ain't you stop?" He said, "I wasn't gonna let that old man outrun me."
What?
So yeah, so
Man,
shout out to John.
Setting the bar.
Setting the bar. And it was funny because John knew what was going on, so he just kept running. He was like, eventually he's going to give up. He didn't give up. He
right,
didn't give up.
That's good.
Yes.
There you go.
So, yes, thank you, John, for all you do. So that's it for the events. I do want to mention something I'm thankful for before we get into our discussion, because I always do that. And I want to thank 2 entities. Number one, thank everybody who's been believing in me through this whole transition. It hasn't been easy. There have been a lot of naysayers. You gonna quit your job? You gonna quit your good job?
Your good job?
Good
Good
job.
government job.
And I'm absolutely, because what I'm trying to build, what I am
you're
building
building.
Right.
for my family is going to live way beyond my lifetime.
right.
And Gabriel and King and those who come after them will have something they can hold on to and continue to pass on. That's what I'm about. I'm about legacy. And I can't build a legacy working for someone else.
You know,
I'm building
definitely
their legacy, but not mine. So thank you for those who believed in me. I mean, even for those who, who've questioned me, because I'm the kind of person, the best way to get me to do something is tell me I can't do it. So it's going to be done.
All right.
And to PCG Education, thank you for the great opportunities I had working with you to be in Mays High School, because you came over and spoke to the kids at Mays, and to work at Jackson High School and my favorite school, West End Academy. I'm thankful to PCG for those opportunities, because I got to see things, I guess, inside the walls of our schools that I wouldn't have seen. They really gave me a window into what we really have to do for our kids, because you don't really know until you walk through those doors and you find out that the grown folk stuff is going on in the hallways.
Oh, yeah.
Every day they're having grown folk conversations with each other, and I didn't know that, but now that I know, you're better prepared to assist our young people when you know that really there is no escape for them. What they're facing in the streets, they're facing at school. Everywhere they go,
what
on
age?
all sides.
At what
This
age?
is high school.
Yeah.
I would be in the classrooms and students were talking to the teachers like they talk to each other. And I was shocked. I would, cause
Oh, yeah, they'll do that now.
yeah, because I thought, you flip the switch on and off. Oh, there's an adult coming. No. I saw a young man shove his female teacher out of the classroom, push her from the front of the class out the door into the hallway.
Gracious.
Yes. And then the other kids, when the police got there, said, oh, he didn't touch her. And I'm sitting there like, I just saw him shove
Manhandle her.
and manhandle her. And so those types of things. But again, unless we know those things are happening, unless we know what our young people are facing, then we can't address it. So I know my time there was divinely spent because I needed to know what was going on so that I could help be a part of the solution to what's going on.
Very good.
So anything you guys want to mention that you're thankful for today?
Man, I'm thankful for the team that supports the Black Friday brand and, you know, continuing to make it grow and, you know, become visible to more and more people.
Yeah, you're a superstar.
Superstar.
You are.
Reflection of your greatness, Regina.
Oh, thank
How about
you.
that?
Yeah, baby.
He's got his cape behind his suit, right? He got a
He
cape.
does,
I know
he does,
I
he
know
does.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So what are you thankful for?
Well, you know, you spoke about mentorship, and that we speak about that often. I am thankful for two people in my life that have made me stretch myself. And you might know them, Howard Gillespie and Vanessa Henderson. Vanessa Henderson is a 3-time Atlanta's hottest designer.
Okay.
3 times in a row, 3 times in a year, in a row. Mr. Gillespie is a stylist that works all over the city, from movie sets, the whole 9. And they're pushing me out of my box, out of my comfort zone. And they drag me doggone near out of my comfort zone. And I appreciate that. I'm thankful for that.
That's awesome.
Because I'd still be there.
We all need people. See, I would never know anybody would have to drag you. You walk out in that runway like you own it. Like, I mean, like my son used to have this phrase because he used to hear me say, I used to say, I'm the queen of women, and they all acknowledge me as their leader. I'm sorry, I do have a big ego. I'm sorry.
Oh, you
But,
got to. Don't apologize for that, baby.
Sure don't.
And so my son adapted that, and he would say, I am the king of men, and they do acknowledge me as their leader. When I see you walk down the road, that's what I think. Like, you know, I know I'm the baddest thing
Well, thank
walking
you very
through
much.
here right
Thank you.
now, and I'm glad y'all acknowledge that y'all know.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, they had a big part in that. Mr. Gillespie and Miss Vanessa. Huge part in that.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, really good.
Well, we're going to get on to these awards. We're not going to take a break or anything, Royce. As you guys know, you were selected as a part of the first class of honorees for the very first Boss Awards.
Man.
And these awards were really special to me. You know, I told my team, I said, we're not voting. I'm not asking. I know exactly who these awards have to go to, because these men have not only supported the Boss brand and been, you know, when I say, can you come to the show? All right, when you want me to be there, right? That's from both of you.
Definitely.
But also continue to excel in the work you do in the community and helping others. And so for me, it was very personal. Yeah, I liked everybody agreed with the awards, but I didn't really care because I knew that you guys were the men who deserved to receive them. And I'm going to start with you, Brian. Brian was chosen as our fashion award honoree. Devette, could you help me and bring? I know. And Devette's like, I'm not supposed to be on camera.
Wow, look at that.
Yes, it's on the very end. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So in honor of you, Brian,
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
and all the work you do to show our young man what it looks like to be a man of style and
That is nice.
sophistication.
Thank you so
We
very
honor you.
much. Thank you so very much. Thank you. Look at that.
Right.
That's hot. That's hot right there. I like that.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, bro. Look at that certificate. Got my name on it and everything.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you so very much.
Remind our audience what you guys do with Future Gents in terms of mentoring our young men, some of the specific things that you guys do.
We simply, well, in a nutshell, we share life with these boys, with these young men. We share life with them. Many of them don't know what life is going to offer them, first of all, because they have not been outside their own community, which baffles me. People in Atlanta stay in their communities all their lives.
Yes.
They never travel from small city to small city. We meet people that live in Atlanta, but have never been to Marietta or Alpharetta or Smyrna. No surrounding area at all. All they know is what their radius is. We want them to get out of that radius, but they also know that they can do anything they want to do, put their mind to do, set their minds to do, but they've got to have some training. It's not going to just magically happen. You got to have some daily affirmations. You got to get in there and learn what you might want to do. You got to investigate it, search it out, seek the help that you might need. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I need help. If you don't know the answer, say, I don't know the answer. It's okay. I'm sure my man Rick Mathis every now and then, say he don't know the answer. Most times he does know the answer, but he knows who to go to get the answer.
Yes.
And we try to empower those young men to do that. Style, etiquette, manhood, and leadership is what we deal with. Now the hook we deal with is style. Everybody wants to look good and feel good about how they look, how they're perceived. The first time these guys go out on the runway, for instance, when we do the OMW, and they hear all the cheers and all the rad, they come back and they are different people immediately. Immediately. So that carries forward to anything else that they might have in their lives. To show them that you are appreciated and you can be a king, you can be a leader, you can be a future gent. So that's what we do.
The manhood piece. Tell us about that.
Oh, well, you know what? Men, I think, have, and this might step on some toes.
Go ahead.
All right? But men have forgotten how to be men. Men have forgotten how to be caring, emotional beings, but still be hard enough to get a point across that needs to get across. My father taught us with an iron fist. My father was a disciplinarian. He was in the service, 26 years, master sergeant. So he was a very strict, hard man. Now, there's a place for that, but there's also a place to be, okay, you don't know what you don't know. And I can't be mad at you for not knowing what you don't know. So teach a man how to be a man by saying, first of all, this is life. Everyone has to have a trial at this life. So don't beat me down because I don't know what I don't know. If I don't know what I don't know it. You don't know until you do know it. I know that sounds kind of redundant, but that's what it is. You don't know what you don't know. And if you don't know, you can get an answer. You can get an answer. There's answers to be had. So we teach them how to do that. We want them to make sure that they know that there are no stupid questions. We have come to the point where we believe that if we don't know, we're stupid, and we'll put down. Everything looks good on social media. Everything is perfect on social media. But in real life, it is hard. It's difficult, especially for men of color. Now, we don't only mentor men of color, boys of color. We go across the gamut. But for men of color, it's very, very difficult for them to step out and try to reach for help because we're always deterred by one thing or the other. The media, the news that goes forth, the fight between men and women in our communities, the fight between those that may be of a lighter hue than I am. You understand the Willie Lynch situation. So we go through all those things. We try to make sure that they know there's no stupid questions. You don't know what you don't know, but there are answers to everything you got going on. And this is how you go about it. There's a step-by-step process. Hierarchy is very important. Like you talked about in school. We would never, as youngsters back in the day, put our hands on a teacher that we had that was in charge of us. We wouldn't do that, all right? We wouldn't talk to them the same way we talk to our buddies. We wouldn't do that either. Hierarchy, respect, how you dress. Pull your pants up off your ass. If I can say that on the radio.
You can say
that. Is that okay?
Yeah, you good.
Pull your pants up every now and then,
All the time.
Yeah. Don't forget your hygiene. Make sure you deal with that effectively. Respect the women that are in your lives. Respect them. Don't belittle them. Don't call them bees and hoes. I say that on TV. Can I say that on the radio?
Go ahead.
Can I say that? It's too late, ain't it? I said it already.
You good.
So don't make sure that they know how to act.
Yes.
How to appreciate, how to respect, all those things. How to dress, the entire nine. The whole nine. How to be a man.
I love that. I love that. Because, I've had...
And how to work.
Go ahead.
How to work. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How to work. How to earn an honest living. We talk about that as well.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because, there's this ongoing dialogue in our community that boys don't need, or children don't need fathers. And I'm always
Who has said that?
That's what I'm saying. How backwards is
But,
that?
but you know, but you hear it all the time, like, oh, I can raise my kids by myself. I'm good. I'm the mama and the daddy. No, you are not.
No, you need both
You need
parents. You need both
both.
of those different types of energy because it's two different beings. They have something to pour into the child's life.
Absolutely.
I can't give what you can give to the child, and you can't give what I have to give to the child. So that's not. Makes no sense to say.
It doesn't, and I don't know. Well, we know where some of these things have started, but how we begin to shift that. And I've had women to tell me, you know, because my foundation is women's empowerment, to tell me, you know, I've always been told, you don't need a man. You don't need a man. Just, you know, you can make it by yourself.
But see, but meanwhile, other races, other ethnicities,
Yes.
they have their man in
Right.
the home
Absolutely.
and around.
All the time.
Absolutely.
All the time.
And so,
Mhm.
and I was telling somebody,
And they thrive.
Exactly.
we've got to change what we're saying to our kids. And I know this the thought process from where it comes, because I've heard older women tell me the same thing. They're trying to tell you something to create an independence about
Absolutely
you.
right.
But what they're doing is creating a divide,
Separation.
and it's
There's a-
not working for us.
But see, what they don't do is they don't balance the conversation.
Yes.
They don't balance it. There's always a balance there. You may not need the man for this, but you do need a man for this.
Yes.
All right? Yes, be independent in your own dealings, but when you're dealing with a family setting and you have a man in your life, know where you sit. And that goes for the man as well. We got to know where we sit.
Yes.
Now, it's not a role where it's chauvinistic or so submissive that you can't speak about what you got to speak about. But you got to know where you fit.
Absolutely.
You know, because this life is a puzzle. And you got to fit those pieces of that puzzle together to be successful.
Yes, and I think that has been the missing piece with our community. We get that piece right. We get our families united, then we can face anything together.
Unstoppable.
Exactly. Because,
Unstoppable.
but that's by design. If you,
Absolutely it is.
remember, Claudine, I'm only, about 24 myself.
How about that?
I saw somebody
How
else.
about that? You read about that in the
I
book.
heard somebody else talking about it. But, the movie Claudine, where they talk
Yeah.
about the welfare man coming and all of that, and where that's
Yeah.
when they first started to take the male out of the household.
Absolutely.
Sure did.
See what I'm saying? And that's by design. It's not a coincidence. It's not.
Then they lock him up for
Yes.
everything, and, or kill him. All of that. So they're trying to make the black man extinct.
Absolutely.
But you know what, though? As long as a black woman exists, you all can rejuvenate, replenish our race.
The planet. That's right.
As long as a black woman exists, there's nothing we can't do.
I believe that.
Okay.
Well, I thank y'all for being real men, because it's so needed. I've told people, like I said, I've had the conversation with women over and over again, there were so many times in raising Gabriel that I didn't agree with maybe what John thought should happen, but I always yielded to whatever he thought was best, because I've never walked through this world as a man. I don't know what that feels like. I know what it looks like, but I don't know what that feels like, and only he can determine what Gabriel needs best to be the best possible man. And that's something that people just don't understand. No, I want to be. No, do you want to be right, or do you want to be happy?
How about that?
And I had to decide. I might have thought I was right, but long term, in most cases, I found out he was right all along. But in that moment, I thought I was right. And I'm just thankful that I had a mother. I have a mother that taught me what it looked like to submit to my husband in a way that we create a partnership that blessed our whole family.
Right.
Because I saw her operate in that. And it would be sometimes we'd be like, Mama, Daddy is wrong. She'd be like, baby, just be quiet. Watch this. She'd say, what? Just watch this.
Yeah, watch and
and
learn.
she would love him into what she wanted him to do, or what was best. She said, see, we didn't have to argue. We didn't have to. And I watched that, how she served him in such a way that he was responsive to the things she had to say. There was no combativeness, if that makes sense. And so that's a class they need to teach.
Oh, yeah.
Need to teach that class for sure. You said a word, submissiveness, all that. Black women, and I'm going to say this out loud, black women seem to believe that word is a negative connotation. It's a negative word. It's not a negative word. We as husbands, boyfriends or whatever, significant others, have to submit to our SO as well. So it's a two-way street. It's a two-way street, and submissiveness is not a bad word.
No, it's like this. Someone explained it to me like this once. They said anything with two heads is a monster.
Yes. Yes.
And it doesn't mean that one person is smarter than the other. It just
Right.
somebody has to lead.
Right.
And so you lead, and I support you in leading,
Right.
and that way we form a team, you know? And again, if there comes a point where we don't agree, then the leader gets to make the final decision. But I know you love me enough that you are considering the things that I said.
Well, my grandma used to say it like this: the man is the head, but the
The
woman is the neck.
Boy,
Yes.
look at that.
So
Now
you
that's
gonna
teamwork.
tell the head which way to turn.
Now that's teamwork right there. That's teamwork.
Yes, but like you said, there's a clever, I don't say clever, but there's a way you do it without,
good. It's a good word.
is that a good
It's a
word?
good word, yeah.
Without emasculating him,
right.
you know, because if a man feels like you're trying to tell him what to do, he's just not going to hear what you have to
that's not
say.
gonna go so well.
But if you give him a chance to hear you,
Yeah.
you love him and give him a chance to hear you, then he
Right.
opens up to hear those things because he knows you genuinely love him. It's not about me trying to take over or being in competition with each other. It's about us doing what we have to do together to provide what's best for our family.
And friendship is very important that as well. Friendship is very, very important. You know, love without friendship to a spouse is, or boyfriend and girlfriend, love without friendship is doomed to fail.
Yes,
Doomed to
and
fail.
respect. I had a good friend of mine running for state representative in South Carolina tell me once that it was more important to him that his wife respected him and he could trust her than that he loved her. And I was like, really? He said, because if she respects me and I can trust her, he said, I'll love her.
Right.
And that's what happened. He's over time began to love her. He said, because I knew she had my back. I knew there was nothing anybody could do to harm me because she was going to have me.
Yeah, men want respect, women want love, and respect as well. But all that's, you know, it's inclusive. You understand?
Yes.
It's inclusive. Even though you may not say the word, it's all inclusive.
Awesome. I didn't know we were going to have this discussion, but that whole manhood
yeah.
thing kicked it off. Well, our second award honoree that is here, receiving our film and culture. Where is it? It's in the front. Film and Culture Award is none other than Mr. Rick Mathis.
Thank
Yes,
you.
yes. The
Thank
main
you,
man.
thank you.
The main man.
Oh yeah. Thank you for this award. It's definitely always a pleasure, you know, to get awards from people that are in your inner circle and that really, really know you. You know, that know people that know you. You know, in 2016, we had the honor of getting the President Barack Obama Lifetime Achievement Award. But this, to me, is more special than that award because President Barack Obama don't know me. I mean, you know, it was people around him that saw what we were doing and say, hey, we need to recognize Rick Mathis for what he's doing. But he don't know my name or what I do. But on Regina, she know who I am. She pick up the phone and call me. She text me, how far you are, Rick? You know what I'm saying? So when people that are that close to you give you an award, it means a lot to me.
Absolutely.
Well, it's so deserving because I remember meeting you at Instinct Radio. You were on, I think, Shakima Silveri's show. And that was when you were releasing the first
The first volume, okay.
Yes, volume. And from then until now, just to watch how you've moved and, you know, use your time and your efforts and your energies to educate your people. And it's like a mantle that you wear, that you know that this is the purpose for which you've been put here, to make sure you get the information to us that we need. And that blesses me because there are so many people who are just, I'm just going to take care of me and mine, as long as we got, you know, but it's very obvious, Rick, that it's a personal responsibility that you take on to make sure that you are providing information and resources to us so that we can be who we're supposed to be. And now here you are working with the babies.
Oh, yeah. Got
Tell-
the Kids Money book.
Yeah, I was going to say, tell them
So-
about that, the newest book, the Kids Money book.
So we released Volume 1 in 2015, and we did a remix version in 2016, and then we released Part 2 in 2017. So in 2017, we took the conversation global, but we also added 7 practical principles. So of those principles, we created a kids money book. So with the kids money book, um, it's 7 principles that every child should know about money. So we took the characters from the book and what they said in the film and turned that into a book. So that's how we came up with the kids money book. But since we've turned that into a curriculum as well. So we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, which is why I missed the event, and I hate that I had double booked myself. But I was thinking that this was like on a weekend. It just, you know how most events like this on a weekend. So I really wasn't paying attention to the date. I was, really just looking at when the event was. So we went there and we facilitated the curriculum at a charter school there. So that was one of the first charter schools that we've done, because we just released a book in March, I say. And then after that, I was like, well, let's go ahead and do a curriculum around these 7 principles, because we can do the curriculum as well as have the book. So that's what we were doing.
Well, after I got those books from you, I shipped them multiple places, but I shipped one to my niece Olivia in Cary, North Carolina. And when she got the book, she called. She said, "Do you know this little girl in this book?"
What?
I was like, "Yeah, I met Ken." She thought that was the coolest thing. Cooler than Aunt Regina doing her own show.
How about that?
But I know the little girl.
That's in the
that
book.
was in
That's
the
in
book.
the movie.
Yeah, she thought that was so cool. And so, Kennedy. I look at what you've done with our young people and how you've pulled them onto a bigger platform to give them exposure. Why was that important to you? Because there were so many people you could have gotten to narrate that book. I mean, and the movie.
And the film. I mean, the reason why it's important is because, like, we really have to reach the kids. Like, we really have to reach, the youth. Like, for us to know this information is one thing and for us to apply it. But for them to get it at an early age, 5, 7, 9, 11, that's astounding. Because if I had someone who had shared information like this with me at an early age, then I would be light years ahead of where I am now. I've always had an entrepreneur spirit and, strive to be an entrepreneur, but I didn't have the proper infrastructure on how to do it. The proper business model. So I had to learn all of those things. So at 40, I'm just now learning what a cash flow project is. You know what I'm saying? When you understand what that is, then you can say, okay, where do I fit in this cash flow project? Am I going to be the employee? Am I going to be the self employee? Am I going to be the business owner, or am I going to be the investor? You see what I'm saying? And that makes up, the community, the business community. You know what I'm saying? Everybody falls into one of those 4 categories. So at an early age, you can now say, okay, where do I want to fit into this category? Now, I'll tell you one thing. When we were in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, majority of those people there were entrepreneurs. And being there, I had a chance to really pull back some layers and really learn some more history about Black Wall Street, because we hear about it, but to actually be there and to be in one of the houses that they had back in the early 1900s, where they had switches on the wall, they had they had the nice refrigerators, they had the nice stuff in the house, like stuff that I would appreciate today. But it was 2 things being there that really stood out to me, that I learned while I was there. The first thing was Black Wall Street really was only around for 16 years.
It wasn't a very long time. You're right.
O.W. Gurley founded Black Wall Street, the Greenwood District, in 1905. By 1921, the U.S. had dropped bombs on Black Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? And so they built over 600 businesses, and the community flourished in 16 years. You know what I'm saying? To where people are still talking about it 100 years later. In a couple of years, it'll be 100 years since Black Wall Street, was bombed and was burned down. So I thought that was amazing. I was like, wow, 16 years? You would think a place like that had been around 40, 50 years at least. You know what I'm saying? And the other thing that I found that was so amazing is they built all of that without one bank.
Is that right?
That's the same thing I said. I said, they had a bank, man. And the director of the Greenwood Community Center said, what was the name of it? I said, So they did not have one bank, but they were able to do that because they kept the dollar circulating in the community. The dollar would stay in the community in Black Wall Street over a year.
Wow.
Before it left.
Now it's a fraction
Now
of that.
it's 6 hours.
Yeah, it's a fraction of that, absolutely.
Yeah. So I thought those two things right there were just so profound. I was like, 16 years, and they did it without a bank.
That
That's
is.
something.
Yeah.
That's something.
So we don't have any excuses.
No?
No.
You know, in a few years, 2021, our gross disposable income, our gross income for the year as African Americans will be $1.5 trillion. That's $1.5 trillion. So that's $1,000 billion. If you had $1,000 billion bills and you laid them out, plus 500 more that we spend every year. So the question I ask us now is, what are you spending your $1.3 trillion, your part of the $1.3 trillion that we have now? What are you spending that on? Are you spending it? Are you investing it? Where's that money going? That's principle number 1 in the book.
Yes.
Follow your dollar. Know who you're spending your money with. Know who you're investing your money with. I like to say investing. That's what I tell the kids. Because when you say you're investing your money, you expect a return.
Yes.
If you say you're spending your money, you don't expect a return on that. But every dollar that you have in your pocket should be looked at as an investment. Whether you're investing in your light bill, whether you're investing in food to eat for the day, it should all be an investment. And that's one of the things that we teach the kids.
That's powerful there. That's powerful.
So the age group, what age group of kids are you working with right now?
The age group, I mean, it's really for the toddlers on up. But, you know, what we say is like 8 to like 21. That's the age group that we really focusing on. Because by the time, you know, you're at age 8, really 7, but we'll say 8, you should have a product or a service that you can now sell.
Absolutely.
You can now offer. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And make money from, make a residual from. You see what I'm saying? Because now we have the internet. With the cell phone has literally turned the world into a village.
It certainly has.
You can communicate with anybody around the world via the cell phone. You can do business on your cell phone. I know people that can literally stay in the bed and make money.
Yes.
Absolutely.
You see what I'm saying? So it's a new age. Technology has totally disrupted the way we do business.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? So since we're doing business in a different manner, now that opens doors for us, you know, because I look at it, we're the most creative people on the planet.
The most creative.
And this is the age of creativity. Who can be the most creative? Who can come up, who can fill a void that's needed? You know, I share this real quick. If you look at the top businesses that are thriving right now, how technology has disrupted those top businesses. What's the #1 car business or car service right now?
Uber.
In the world? Uber. How many cars do they own?
Not one.
Not one. What's the #1 hospitality industry right now, or company right now?
It's not Airbnb.
It's Airbnb.
It is, okay.
How many houses do they own?
None.
Not one.
0. What's the #1 clothing or product infrastructure that sells products right now?
Amazon.
Amazon. How many products do they make?
You're right.
0. See what I'm saying? So we're in an age where if we had thought about this model 20 years, or someone had said, hey, the #1 car service would not even own 1 car. The #1 hospitality service would not even own a house or a hotel. You would look at me like you crazy. Like, they're the #1. How they going to make money?
How they going to do it? Yeah, how they
How they going to make money? They don't own a car. They don't own a
Yeah.
hotel. They don't own a house. You see what I'm saying? But that's the age that we're in. So now what we have to do is we have to shift the mind of the younger people to think different and to operate in a different manner. You see what I'm saying? So if they can operate in a different manner and they say, hey, what it's about now, it's about building a captivated audience. If you build a captivated audience, then you're going to make money.
And teaching,
Period.
teaching entrepreneurship, I think it's got to be the way to go. We don't teach that enough in our homes. It's all about getting a good job, and we know that a job can end on your 27th year of employment.
Yes,
And it'll
absolutely.
be done, and you get nothing from that 27 years that you spent in that job.
Absolutely.
But if you teach entrepreneurship early, man, that's
right.
big.
Yeah.
It is. I remember, and I guess with this conversation, I keep thinking about John and Gabriel. When Gabriel would come to John with an idea, John's first question was always, "Is that your? Did you use your brain or somebody else's?" Because he wants to know if this is this an original thought. I don't want you copying other people. And if Gabriel said, "Well, I heard so and so," he'd be like, "Come back when you've got your own idea." And he would tell him when he wanted certain things, he said, "Come up with the money for it. Come up with a creative way to make money." So Gabriel would create all these businesses to create money because he was told that he could. And I think that's the difference. When we tell our children that they can, then they rise to that level of expectation. And so for him, it just makes sense. Entrepreneurship just makes sense because that's the way he's been trained his whole life. So I do believe that's the conversation we have to have more and more with our kids, and stop the, go to college, get a good job, work for somebody, whatever, and retire. It doesn't work that way.
No.
It's not working out for a lot of people.
Not that education isn't important.
Yeah.
But
Education
for
is very, very
different
important.
reasons.
And I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So people don't understand that you want to get a good education. You want to have some good ideas, some good smarts about you, if you will. But use it in a different way.
Exactly. And well, for us, even with Gabriel, it was about educating yourself in the things that you love, that you're passionate about, not about, okay, which one's going to make you the most money. I think that's the way the conversation has to shift, because our parents were like, no, do this because this makes a lot of money. They don't care if you sad every day you go there, as long as you get this
Just go.
money.
Well, what I always say, if you're living your purpose, then the universe is going to support you. For example, if you look at a bird, you know what I'm saying? You don't see birds flying around homeless or starving. You know what I'm saying? You don't see that. You don't see ants homeless or starving because they're living their purpose. You don't see bees starving and say, "Oh, I can't make it today because I hadn't ate." You know what I'm saying? Because they're living their purpose. If you're
good
living
stuff
your
right there, Rick.
purpose,
That's
the
good stuff.
universe is going to support you.
Absolutely.
Point blank,
That's good
period.
stuff there.
Absolutely.
You have
That's
to
good.
look at nature. I mean, we've gotten so out of tune with nature to where, a lot of us don't know what's real and what's fake. But if you look at the bees, you look at the birds, you look at nature, nature is consistent. You know what I'm saying? It's in harmony with the order of things. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we have to be. Get back in harmony with nature and be
agree with you.
in the order of things. When you're in order of things, things come to you. The grass, a blade of grass doesn't strain to come through the soil or pierce the soil. It does it with ease.
Because that's what it was purposed to do.
That's its purpose. You have to
Absolutely.
understand what your purpose is.
So with the children you're working with this new project, you talked about that entrepreneurship piece. So are you actually helping them to figure out what business it is that they would like to start and helping to implement that?
Well, I partner with a lady named Dana. Dana has these things called entrepreneur badges. And what these badges are, you can sponsor a child to now become an entrepreneur and fund their idea.
Wow.
So we do it with badges, though. So, like the Boys and the Girl Scout badges. So that's how we do it with the badges. And the principles from the Kids Money book is the foundation or the principles that they use in order to build and grow their business.
I love that.
So that's how we're doing it.
You've piqued my
Great
interest.
Great incentive.
You really
So,
piqued my interest.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
so now if there's a 5-year-old or 7-year-old that say, "Hey, I want to start a lemonade stand," then we can pair him with Regina, and Regina say, "Okay, I'm going to fund your business." And now when you fund their business, when they make the money, they have to pay you back. Once they make money.
So
from
you're
their
their
lemonade stand.
investor.
Correct.
I like that, Rick.
Yeah. So now the thing in our community, the reason why that $1.3 trillion isn't properly managed right now is because we don't have the businesses in our community to have those dollars circulate so that we can manage it. So the money isn't staying in the community because we don't have the businesses in the community to properly manage that. You see what I'm saying? So if the money was staying in the community longer, then we would figure out how to properly manage it. But when most people get a check, the first thing they're doing is going to a business outside of the community, or they're taking it to a business that's set up in the community. So when they take that money to that business, that's not an investment. They're spending that money because nothing comes back from it. Nothing comes back from it. They don't support any of the charities. They don't support any of the football teams, the rec teams. They don't support any of that. You see what I'm saying? But we have to start holding them accountable.
Right.
If you're going to spend, like in Black Friday 1, Warren Ballantyne gave a beautiful illustration. He said, if you own a corner store in the community, in the black community, and let's say you have, in an average of a year, you have 10,000 people that go in and spend $100 over that course of a year, right? That business, that corner store, has grossed $1 million right there in your community.
Right there in the community.
But what do they do with that $1 million? Do they now invest back into the community?
They take it out.
Into the kids? No, they put that money in their bag, and they get in their car, and they
drive
drive
out
it to their
of
bank,
the community.
outside of the community.
So they're actually just opening and closing every day.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So if they're doing that, then you have to say, okay, what is wrong with us where we're giving our money away so willingly like that?
And there it is. That's the question. How do we then begin to shift that mindset where we understand that even if I have to drive past this corner store to one that's 3 miles down the road that supports my community, that it's worth it.
So that's why we're starting to view every dollar in your pocket as an investment. If you view every dollar in your pocket as an investment, then when you take that money to a store that doesn't invest back into the community, you're going to feel some kind of way by spending money there.
That's a real good way to do it. Investment minded.
It is.
That's
Well,
a
you
real
know,
good way to
I
think about it.
remember, it's interesting because I try to consciously make sure I know where I'm spending my money. And I went to a black-owned pharmacy in Marietta. There's a black-owned pharmacy in Marietta. And I was looking for something in particular. And he asked me, he says, when you get prescriptions, where do you get them from? And I said, oh, I go to Walgreens. And he looked at me, he said, I'm a black man right here. Keep going. And I stopped and I said, you're right. I said, you're my pharmacist from now on. And so every time I come through there, he kind of smiles or whatever. But my thing is, I will drive wherever I got to do to get to him because he had the courage to say something. What if he just let me, like everybody just go on by?
Right.
So I wonder how many other people he checked. You know what I'm saying? I'm
sure
a
he
black
checked a lot of
man
people.
in your community, and you going over there?
And that's easy. A prescription called in by your doctor to his, that's easy. Just go pick it up.
Just go pick it up.
Exactly. And it's right there with
It's right there.
Yeah, in your community. So,
That's easy.
The other thing, we have to start to control our distribution, the distribution of the products that we create. From sourcing the product, the source that it comes from, to actually distributing it. Because at the end of the day, the distributor really makes the most money. So we have to learn to control that distribution. Because if we're not controlling the distribution of it, I could create this right here, but then if I take it over here to Jim Bob and let him distribute it, now Jim Bob gonna get a bigger cut of something that I created. That's like me baking a cake and taking it to Jim Bob, and Jim Bob say, okay, we can sell these cakes, but we're gonna give you 25%, and we're gonna take the other 75% because they gotta go through the different distribution channels. But that's just tongue hustling.
That's all it is.
That's going
That's all
into my
that is.
pocket.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Smoke
saying?
screen.
Yeah, that's all it
That
is. So
is,
we got to control, and with the internet and technology, now we can control the distribution channels. You see what I'm saying? Now we can control that.
Well, I think one of the times you were on the show, you were there with Freeway, Rick Ross, and I remember him talking about, of course, in the drug business, when he cut out
All
the
those people,
distributors,
yeah.
then
He make a bigger profit.
He made a bigger profit, and
Exactly.
that same mindset, we take it and do it in legal
That's
ways.
business.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? The illegal business and the legal business is the same business. You taking a product, buying it for low, and you selling it for high.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same business principle.
That's what Red Storm said.
Yeah.
When he first came out of jail, and the guy was selling CDs. He was like, "Oh, those are crack prices, $10."
That's what I'm saying. So then he saw that. He said, well, let me just sell these instead of selling the crack.
Yeah.
How
But
about
now,
that?
but now we create other products. Think about this right here. We say this in Black Friday too. Speech said this from Arrested Development. He said, imagine if we had patented the technology when we revolutionized the way that the turntables were being used. We did that. No other race did that.
The scratching and all that.
Yeah, we're scratching.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine if we had patented that, and our kids can now eat off of that
Forever.
forever. But no, we revolutionized it, and Technique saw what we were doing. They went and got a patent on it. They changed a few things. They went and got a patent on it. Now, Technique, their kids are now eating off an idea that we revolutionized. And that's how we have to think about it.
Yeah.
Well, you mentioned the kids that are in the classes. How are the parents, I guess, being drawn in?
Well, when you get the kids, you get the parents. Kids ain't gonna drive themselves to the workshop.
That's right. That's a
You
good
see what I'm
thing.
saying?
That's a
So
good thing.
that's really the reason why I wrote the Kids Money book. Because if I write the book for the child, then the parent is gonna read it because
I remember
they
you said
wanna
that.
know what the kid
Right. What the child's reading.
is reading.
Yes.
And what that does is that takes the pressure off of the parent, because you might have parents that have come into $10,000, $50,000, $100,000, and they blew it. So now when you're talking about financial literacy and how to properly manage money, they feel a certain kind of way because, man, I had insurance policy that was $20,000. I went and bought a car with that money. And the time I drove it off the lot, it lost value.
Sure did,
In 5 to
immediately.
10 years, car was in the junkyard. That $20,000 was gone. So now there's a stigma. There's something that's there. So when you try to talk to them about money, you gotta peel through those layers first.
Right.
But if you go at the child, now the parent is a bystander. Now they can still learn because the principles in the book are so practical that a 8-year-old can understand it, but a 21-year-old can apply it. See what I'm saying? They can apply it too at a young age, but a 21-year-old can properly apply this stuff and really get something out of it.
It's phenomenal, bro. Phenomenal.
Well, I've enjoyed you guys. I'm so blessed that you guys continue to do the work that you do with our young people because it's needed, especially when it comes from a man that looks like them. It makes a difference. They see men that look like them doing positive things and giving back, and lets them know that everything they're seeing in the media is not the truth about
It's
who
far
they
from the
are.
truth.
It's far from the truth because they have living, breathing examples in front of them on a daily basis. So before we go, got a few more minutes. We always go over, so our editor, when they start cutting film, we got enough film. To, I guess, the parents that are listening, to both of you, if you had, I guess, one practical tip that the parents can begin to implement in their young people's lives to begin to make a difference, whether that's financially, whether that's spiritually, whatever, what is something you could tell them that could begin to make a difference in a young person's life today?
Hold your child accountable and let that child know that there are consequences to his actions.
Yes.
Because the
That's a good
consequences, the ones that we deal with when we're adults are not nearly what they were when we were children. I mean, or I should say, I'm sorry, they're greater than that. When you make a mistake as an adult, it costs you some money. It costs you some situations. When you make a mistake as a child, you may get punished a little bit. Man, go sit in the corner for a couple of hours. We're going to deal with you later on. But now it's money that I'm dealing with. I'm dealing with money. I'm dealing with time. I'm dealing with relationships. So the consequences now are so much greater than they were when I was a child. So hold your child accountable. Let that child know that there's consequences to your actions.
That's a good. I'm glad you mentioned money, because Gabriel got to the point. When they get to a certain age, they don't really want to listen, or your discipline it's not really working. So John came up with a fine system. You have to
What?
pay a fine.
That's
He
consequence.
says what grown people do. They pay fines when they break the law.
consequence.
They do.
Consequence, it is.
Yeah.
And you talking about got
That's
his
what a ticket
attention?
is.
He was like, wait a minute, you mean I got to pay $30 because I didn't clean up my room? Oh yeah, you owe us $30.
Ooh, that's steep.
That
That's steep.
worked. It worked
real.
though.
I love it.
Yeah, it's real.
That's good. That
Hold them
guy.
accountable. That's
Yeah.
good stuff.
Rick.
Oh man, the thing that I would say is principle number 2 in the kids' money book: value your time. Every day we're given 86,400 seconds. That's 24 hours. What we do with that time determines how we live, but not only how we live, how our kids could live. Because I can create something in this moment now that they can now eat off of. I can create intellectual property that they can now eat off of. You see what I'm saying?
I agree.
Isaac Hayes' son, Isaac Hayes III, live right here in Atlanta, Georgia. And he ride around happy-go-lucky because his dad created a piece of intellectual property that now he don't have to work, he don't have to be stressed about where he's going to live. He can now do things that he's passionate about. Maynard Jackson, former mayor of Atlanta. His son, Maynard Jackson III, you know, same way. His dad created something that is a residual for him and his sisters, and now, you know, all of them to live off of, Maynard Jackson III and his sisters. So value your time. You know what I'm saying? You have 86,400 seconds every day. You have 168 hours every week. You have 8,760 hours every month. Is that every year? Every year. So you have that many hours every year. So once you break those hours up, then you can say, okay, this is how much time I have to invest into what I want. So if you break that down, you look at 8,760 hours in a year. You spend 1/3 of that sleeping for the most part. So you know you got to get your rest. Okay, but what are you doing with those other 2/3 of that time? Are you spending 8 hours helping to build somebody else's empire? Or are you spending 12 hours helping to build somebody else? Or are you building your own empire? So when you look at those times, now you can say, okay, I know out of that 8,760 hours, I know 2,800 of those hours I'm gonna spend sleeping. Okay, but what am I doing with the other 5,000 hours?
That's good
In
stuff.
the course of the year.
That's good stuff.
Yes.
I heard it said a different way, which is very, you know, it's the same thing. You can spend money and make more money, but you cannot spend time and make more time.
You can't.
Can't do it.
You can't.
That's very, very smart.
And the way that you make more money is by spending your time or investing your time into others so that they can buy into your dreams, your goals, and now you can buy some of their time. You see what I'm saying? So you can buy other people's time. That's what corporations do
That's
all
what
the
they do
time.
all the time. They duplicate themselves on a regular basis.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
So that's what you do. You duplicate yourself.
Yeah.
So that's what I would say. Value your time. Time is our greatest commodity. It's our greatest asset. Once today is gone, we won't
It's
get this
gone.
time back. It's
gone.
done. So that's what I would say.
That's good
Well, I
stuff.
thank you guys so
Good
much.
stuff,
Tell our audience how they can follow you on social media, online. Ryan?
Well, you can follow me at on Instagram at Brian D. Walker 225. Follow me on Facebook at Brian David. I got hacked real bad one time, so I had to change my whole thing. Yeah, Brian David on Facebook and Brian D. Walker 225 on Instagram.
Awesome.
Well,
Rick
you,
Mathis.
you can follow us at Black Friday Film Series. So everything on Facebook, Instagram, everything is Black Friday Film Series, from the email to the website. Everything is Black Friday Film Series.
Awesome. Well, I thank you guys for being the boss men today. One
Thank
time you
you.
actually guest co-hosted because I think you
Oh,
got
yeah.
there and the guys weren't there. So
yeah.
thank y'all. Anytime y'all want to come back out to this
Oh, yeah,
space and,
definitely.
and do some stuff here, let's fill the room. Let's do some positive things. In fact, the thing that I want to do real soon is have a town hall meeting. out here, and let's have some real discussions, create some what I call working groups, because so often people have meetings like that and they all come together and everybody has something to say and they leave. But I would like for us to form what I call working groups, people who are passionate about certain things get together in a room with those other people who have the same passion and say, okay, now what are we going to do when we leave here? How are we going to connect outside of this room to have some effective change? So that's one of the things I definitely want to do here. So I'm open to ideas.
Okay.
From you guys about what we can do here to really create something positive for the community.
Awesome.
All right.
Awesome.
Well, I thank you guys for tuning in. I leave you with our boss motto. Our motto is our men need each other and our community needs our men. I thank you again to my sponsors, the owner of Studio T, Mrs. Terry Searcy, and Lanita Mitchell Blackwell with Leading Through Living and Bold Favor Magazine. Make sure you guys follow me on Regina Sunshine Robinson page on Facebook. Actually, go to reginasunshine.com and everything is there, including the information about Roku and everything else. And if you have Roku, go add my channel. Go and do a good review. You know, give me the 5 stars and everything. And again, this show will be aired again on Roku. It'll be stored on Roku as well as on my YouTube page and Facebook Live. I think that's it. So we thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll leave you with my personal motto. I always say it's not over till I win. If I hadn't won yet, that just means it's not over. So I tell you today, it's not over till you win. If you hadn't won yet, baby, that just means it's not over. Be blessed and keep winning. We're out. Good show.
Awesome.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Picture time.
Good information, B.
Man, you blowing me away, bro. You blowing me away, Rick. Man, we got to collaborate. Do something.
yeah, definitely.
We got to.
You got to hold your award.
Oh, yeah, I got to hold this. I got to have this right there. Got to have that. Let me turn it around so you can see that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. All right, one more. And 1, 2, 3. Perfect.
Good. Can I get one with the cell phone
Yes.
for Instagram?
Okay.
Absolutely.
And then she's going to take some individual pictures. So
Okay.
you guys, okay.
There we go right here.
I guess Ernest was watching. He's
All right, look up, Brian.
One more. 1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Awesome.
Thank
you.
So
You got your
let's,
phone? Oh,
you know what? Send it
Yeah,
to
I'll
me
send it
so
to
you have
you.
my phone number and everything.
That'll
so
work.
we can do it like that. Yeah.
so this is what we'll do. We'll
I think I
scoot
already
out.
got you in.
And then y'all go take turns in front of the table. She's going to take individual pictures with
Okay.
your awards
All
and
right.
everything.
Button up here where I should be.
Go ahead and scoot on out.
Okay, he goes.
Oh,
Grab your award so I don't knock it down.
both of them. Paper and
That would be good. Is everything out of the way? Is that good?
You don't have to.
Kids, you was on honor roll, you know, as you hold all your certificates,
Oh, yeah.
even your perfect attendance.
Do I get one with Regina in here? Are you going to get that with me?
Oh, yeah, we'll do that too. Yes.
Perfect. All right, yep.
All right. You ready?
And 1, 2, 3. One more. Yep, got it. All right, Rick, your turn.
Yeah, I got you right here, Brian. I just sent it to you.
Okay.
I'll get y'all's bag.
You got the, what number do you have there, Rick?
Let me see. I have.
Oh, he said this.
44644.
That's it?
Okay.
Fantastic. Yeah, Regina, you know what? This wouldn't be a bad spot for OMW3.
I agree.
Oh, man, appreciate that, bro. Yes, sir.
big things in the community, man. Like,
Yeah, we got a lot of work to get done with the kids.
that's what it's about.
Yep, that's what I needed.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah.
Coming in, Regina?
I was gonna get your bag.
Ready? And 1, 2, 3. Come on. 1, 2, 3. And one more. 1, 2, 3. And it's gonna be the last one. Okay. And 1, 2, 3. Okay, yeah, like that.
This is beginning to be the favorite. People are so excited when I send them pictures.
Oh yeah,
The next day from this, they love it.
Oh, yeah. Are you gonna send those pictures out? Or you
Yes,
putting them on
Yes.
Facebook? Okay, yeah, you just tag them on Facebook.
Got a box for your pictures.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna break
All of
it.
Yeah,
No,
definitely.
you want
So
like
very
parts
much.
Oh, okay.
One, yep.
Definitely.
Slide it
Throw
right
them
there
on
that you
too.
made. Give us a
Okay,
call.
definitely.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll have some kids events coming up. A lot of those down there. So.
Yeah, so just slide it down there. That way it's protected.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
All right. Regina know how to do it.
She sure does.
Thank you guys for
All right,
this
thank
here,
you for having me.
this is retractable, so we can.
Yes.
So do you have
See,
use
you
of
see
both
the
of them?
hinges right there?
So you have use of both rooms?
If it's big enough, you can double it. Cause I'm thinking for, if y'all did something like what y'all did, y'all would do it both sides.
We do the W3 out. We gotta have both sides.
Yeah.
This ain't gonna do it.
And it's nice too. And that's the newer side over there. So this is the older side. And people think this is nice and they go over there and like, oh wow, this is even nicer on the other side.
You came up with this one here. This is big. I like this.